That's something that might surprise you. They were placed there. On the left, take a look at these sheep. They're spotted sheep. Those are called Jacob's sheep. And they are a very ancient breed of sheep brought over from the Middle East. They are allegedly the descendants of the sheep that Jacob reared during those 14 years when he was working off his time for his 2 wives. Jacob, remember, he didn't get the right wife after 7 years of work, so he had to work for another 7. And when he was allowed to leave, finally, with his 2 wives and servants and all sorts of other things, at the end of 14 years, he was allowed to take the sheep that were impure, that were not pure breed, and that was his breed. And they're a very popular breed today, very succulent for lamb chops, for actually eating. The wool is prized by hand knitters and spinners. It's very soft. And the horns, well, the horns are quite interesting. They have 2 sets of horns. One set points up and the other set curls down around their ears. Sometimes they only have 3 horns. Sometimes they can have as many as 5. But they are spotted. They're all different. You can get a plain black lamb, but typically they are white with black or brown spots. So anyway, back to the Ulsters.
But I digress.
In the 1580s, the Armada came and was threatening to attack England. And this was really a crunch point for Queen Elizabeth. She was still desperately trying to get people to see her as the rightful queen. After all, you know who Queen Elizabeth's mother was. Anne Boleyn, that's right. So to many people in England, Princess Elizabeth was she was illegitimate. She was certainly a bastard to the people, the way they saw it. And Anne Boleyn was never the rightful wife of Henry VIII. So, anyway, Elizabeth had a hard time, and she was trying to build up the confidence in her people. And it all came to a head when the Spanish Armada, hundreds of ships encircled, they came to attack England. Now, if they had attacked from the east, that would have been one thing, but they didn't. They came around the north, sailed down the west coast of Scotland, and they were going to attack the west coast of England. But the problem was, or the thing that was good for Elizabeth, she actually she called people to support her. She made her famous speech. She actually dressed herself in armor and rallied her troops. She called on God's hand. And, well, he seems to have helped her out because the winds changed. There was a horrible storm, and the storm literally bashed the ships of the Armada. Now, after that happened, her popularity went, started just climbing sky high. And one of the things she decided at that point was that she had to do something about the Catholics in Ireland, because Ireland was still a Catholic country. It had not really come under the hand of Henry VIII. They had not really become a Protestant country. And Queen Elizabeth had to do something about them because they had come out to support the Spanish. So what she did was she started importing into Ireland good Scottish Protestants. She took them from the borders. She took some of them from the northern parts of England, Protestants. But she took them and put them in Ireland, in Ulster, and she gave them titles, she gave them lands, and the idea was that they would dilute the Catholics. Well, of course, she died in 1603, and her godson, and we'll be seeing the place where he was christened tomorrow, her godson, James VI, King of Scots, he carried on what Elizabeth had started, and continued to send people from the borders of Scotland in particular. The Armstrongs, they were one of the big clans that got disrupted and literally split apart and sent to Ireland. Now, there are many, many Scots-Irish living in Ulster today, descended from Scots, sent over there as Protestants. Because they were Protestants, they displaced Catholics. They took their titles, they took their lands, they took their incomes. Catholics were demoted to a position where they were not even allowed to compete for work. They weren't allowed to hold jobs. They weren't even allowed to own a horse any bigger than a certain weight of a pony. Catholics were really discriminated against. And this is the beginning. This is the start of the problems that are today, even 2014, the problems still exist in the north of Ireland, in Ulster. But that's how it happened. And it's interesting because many of those people then of 1844 to 1850, the potato famine is on, many people starving. They looked to America. They saw America as a possibility for a better life. And people like JFK's, well, he wasn't an Ulster Scot, but his grandfather moved across with nothing. He moved across to North America during the potato famine, and 3 generations on, we have a president of the United States. So it's quite a remarkable story.